All right, we're going to draw some sunflowers. I'm just giving you the step-by-step on how to do it. Let's get started. Hello and welcome to Deliberately Creative. I'm Stephanie and I want to welcome you to a fun doodle project. We're going to do some sunflowers, and this was the most requested lesson to come out of my Inktober. People have been asking about the fun little pencil pouch. It's available on my Teespring store, and that information is down below in the more information box. If you are new here, welcome. I'm so glad that you came to join us for a fun, relaxing time just doodling some flowers. If you haven't subscribed yet and you want to be in the know when new video lessons come up, go ahead and click on that subscribe button and the notification bell so that you'll be notified when new videos go up. Let's get started with this. I'm not drawing any one of those flowers exactly. They're just there for inspiration, but you can certainly use that picture to draw your own flowers. I got that photograph off of Unsplash. So to draw a sunflower, first one we're going to do is facing straight at us. You draw a wobbly circle. That's the center of the sunflower. Then you give it a little divot. That's kind of where the light is settling in and you see shadow. We'll do a little more with that in just a minute. Then you're going to go around and you're going to make triangle-y type shape petals. And you're just going to work your way around just like you were doing a sun. But we're going to go ahead and let some of these petals start drooping because I want them to be end of season sunflower. So it gives it a little more character. And first, we're not worrying about crossing anything over. We are just making long, squiggly V's. See what I mean? You don't need to be able to draw a straight line. We're making squiggly lines. Now, it's a little sparse. We're going to add a little more to it. I'm going to go into some of these spaces and maybe make another squiggly line. And maybe I want, let's see, maybe I'll have another one coming up here, but I want it to cross behind. So to cross behind, you stop at a petal and then sort of line up and make a point on the other side. Now I want that petal to come back. So I'm going to sort of line up with that petal right here and come back in. Look at that. Now we have a petal that's crossed behind. I like that. I think I want another one. I want it to be crossing down on this side here. So we're going to come partway in, come up to a petal, you stop, you start again, and look, I'm really kind of just wiggling these lines. That's working out pretty well. I am going to just throw a couple more petals in. When you start down on a petal like this and come back in, it makes that petal go to the back. So you're layering your petals. Pretty cool. And I'm just going to let that squiggle in like that. I think I need another one that's right here. Maybe it's drooping down. Maybe you see a little bit of airspace in between. Just try and bring your lines so that they match or they touch each other. So when I start here, I want that line to touch. And even if it goes over a little bit, it's okay. We're going to do a little bit of detail in just a minute. But first, I'm going to go ahead and take one long squiggly line and another long squiggly line. That makes my stalk. And I'm not too worried if my line got a little too thick or a little too thin. This is doodling, and we can make anything work out. People are always surprised that the doodles that I do come out looking so detailed. Most of that is to cover up the initial making the drawing. Then you start doodling over the top of it, and it becomes this really cool looking, intricate thing. You still only drew it one line at a time, and you didn't have to think too far in advance. So I want to put a couple leaves on here. I'm going to be having another sunflower that's coming across, but it's going to be behind the stem, going ahead and putting in some leaves. We can make them any way we want, really. I am going to say that the stem of the leaf came like this, and maybe there's a stem of a leaf that's starting over the front and coming out. Then I'm going to do my sort of wobbly heart shape. And you see how I did that? I started on one side of the stem, went around, and then brought it around back to the other side of the stem. But I want that sort of center line. But then I'm thinking that this leaf is sort of curled in a little bit. So I'm going to just do a little bit of curling it in. And you're going, well, that just looks like the lines are... Oh, you see. Now, that just looked like I drew random lines. But then, as I start shadowing this side of it, we start getting that leaf looking like it's curled around. So now if I put the veins going down and I stop at that curled up bit, it looks like it went in and came around. Look at that. Easy peasy, one line at a time. I might go back and do more later. I'm going to come over here and do another wobbly heart. This time my lines are going this way. You kind of want your center vein of your your leaf to come from the stem here. Now I'm going to go ahead and shadow underneath of that stem of the leaf. And then maybe I'll put some little hairy bits on the actual stalk. That starts to give you those little spiny bits. You can't really see it in this photograph, but I've done it many times. I know that sunflowers have these little spiny poking out bits. And I think I want to go ahead and continue giving it a little bit of a shadow going down this side, cross-hatching it. And maybe straightening up the bottom of this just a little bit. We'll go ahead and give it a few more poking out lines. We're just camouflaging. Like I said, most of the detail is there to hide the bits where I started. So let's see, I want that one a little bit more solid. Shadow that line right there. Details are just one line at a time. I just happen to draw my little lines maybe a little quicker than you would. I like the Faber Castell pen for this because it's a permanent pen that dries really fast. Let's see here. I'm going to go ahead and sort of shadow underneath of this leaf. Maybe pull like the veins of the leaf all the way up to the edge. Since you're not going to see them with the vein running around down there, that's in shadow. Maybe we'll go ahead and pull these veins out. There we go. That stem right there is sort of behind that leaf stem. There we go. And then maybe we'll go ahead and just give it a little bit of some cross hatching out here. I'm making this up. You know, you can make it up. You don't have to feel tied to the picture. The picture is there for reference. It gives you an idea. But when you're doodling and you're making it up for yourself, nobody else can say, hey, you didn't draw that sunflower, did you? Nope, I drew my own. It eventually just came right out of my own head. I'm going to go here on these petals, and the petals that are in the back, I'm going to put a shadow in. The petals that are in the front, I'm going to give just a few little indication lines. But if it's a petal that's behind, I want to make it in shadow a little bit. So I'm looking at this and I'm going, oh, you know what? I think I want some petals going up into the flower. Some of those tiny little ones. Sort of like that. At the end of the season, they might not all be tiny little flowers around the center anymore, tiny little petals, but this is where you're putting those details in, and you're disguising things, and you're making it look more intricate. I'm just making a loop. I am just around that center bit. I am just setting my pen down and making a teardrop, and making that teardrop either go in or out. Excuse me. Making a teardrop, whichever direction. It's just adding a little more texture to that center, a little more interest. There we go. And now I'm going to continue on coloring these in, giving them some details. A few little shadowy type lines right close to the center where the petals are coming up and out from under the center. Coloring in a little bit more deeply on those petals that are behind other petals. So look at that. Now we're going to do one more. And it's going to be a sideways flower, because then you have both directions and you can do it any way you want. But look at that. We're just getting all these little details in. You can see why I wanted to get those little petals that were dropped down on there first before I started doing my little shadows. So that way I had a place to put them. And then some people go, well, how do you know where to put your little lines, your little dash lines and things like that? I am imagining. You know how petals have sort of a shine or a shimmer to them? That's what we're putting on here, is the shine or the shimmer. Because there would be shadows. The parts where it's going down would go into shadow. The part that's up on top would be in the sunlight or the shine. So this area right here would be the highlight, and this would be going away from you a little bit into shadow. And so I just imagine what's in shadow, what's in highlight. But you can always look at a flower and just look at the way the petals are growing. My flowers never look the same from flower to flower. Yours don't have to either. The lighting will be different on each kind of flower. And each petal will have different lighting. The sun will shine on it. Other petals will shadow them. Other flowers will be shadowing. If you're interested in a monthly coloring sheet drawn by me, that's one of the perks over on my Patreon. And one of the Patreon levels starts the coloring sheet, and then all of the patron levels above that get the coloring sheet also. And I do one every month. I've only had 1 or 2 released so far because I was so focused on getting my actual coloring book done and published. If you're interested, I did a coloring book with lots of different flowers, even a hummingbird. Look at that. So we have all kinds of flowers, daffodils and roses and butterflies and crocuses and just all kinds of really fun things. Lupins and anemones and succulents. So if you're interested, that's available on my Amazon store. Amazon is selling it. Click the link down below for the more information. There we go. This one is just about done. I'm going to put a little bit of some shadow in here. And then I'm going to make some squiggly lines because the center of a sunflower is textured. But I don't want to color over my little petals. So I'm trying to go a little bit dark right around the petals. There we go. And I'm just making little squiggles. But I'm not going to squiggle line the entire thing in because sunlight shining on it. I might want to color it in. So there we go. I think that's enough squiggles. We have enough detail on this one. Oop, that petal needs to be darker. It's in behind. I'm pretty happy with that. What do you think? I think it needs another petal right here. See, you will start seeing things that will make you go, oh yeah, another petal right there. And then you'll go, oh, well, it could use another one right here too. And you could next petal yourself right into another hour of drawing and coming away with something that totally surprises you. Totally surprising. Let's see. Oh yeah, I think I'm just going to put a little bit of some cross hatching, which is just drawing lines one direction and then crossing over them. just like that. And it gives a sense of color without being color. And if you do it light enough, you can color right over it and not, the pen just gives you a little bit more texture. Oh yeah, I like that. But I'm not scribbling, I'm just scratching one direction and then going back across it the other direction. See? And this one, I think I'm just going to just hatch one, not even hatch, I'm just going to there we go. And maybe I'll put an indication of lines. It's doodling, and you just get sucked in. There we go. I get sucked in. I don't know. You might not. We're going to do really fast. One more. It's going to be coming off, going bent over, making just two parallel lines, or they kind of converge to each other also. If you're looking at the side of a sunflower, you kind of see this green area in the back. And then there's petals. They're kind of coming forward. That green cup right here is hiding our center. So these petals are coming off, and they are actually going to be mostly just scraggly petals that are dripping down. And they're sort of thinner. This one's a little bit farther away from you. You're not seeing it as well. See? Easy, easy, easy. Now, I'm going to sort of kick back a little bit of some petals in the back over here, because those are ones that are dropping down on the back side of the flower. You kind of see them, but you don't really see them. We've got petals. So this time we're going to be making collapsed leaves that are much more skinny and sort of curled on themselves. So the leaf is going to be coming down and just sort of a squiggly line that goes back up, and then another squiggly line alongside of it. And then coming down on the stem, I'm going to say this one was right here on the side, and it's dripping around. Maybe we want the stem to be poked up just a little bit. And we'll start putting our little dashed lines on the stem. I think, well, yeah, I'm going to do one more leaf that's kind of squiggled out, and his little stem is coming off right over here, right on the center. And if you don't like it very much, you can just make it dark. But I'm just putting in those little veins. And then that's the back side of that one, so I'm going to make it a little darker. This particular one doesn't need to stand out as well. It's a supporting character. it's not the star. The star is this one right here in front. This little guy, he's sort of your supporting character. He was a star once, but those days have passed. And see how I'm just putting, basically I just did like 3 little stripes of wiggly lines, and that made that whole leaf just more readable as an old dead leaf. See, we need get that darkened up in back. There's just a couple more little shadowy bits. I really like this project. I'd like to see if you do this. Would you please share it with me on Facebook, on my Facebook page, or at Deliberately Creative on all the social media outlets? And I will see it and show you some love. I really enjoy seeing other people's work after they've done one of my lessons. It really is the best feeling to know that I've helped somebody else do something that they've always wanted to learn. I'm going to do just a little bit of basically a few little shadow lines here and there. You notice I'm not being very careful. I'm just sort of going, okay, what's underneath? What looks like it's inside? What looks like it's on the outside? Closer to the center, or the part that's holding it all together, is going to be a little bit darker. Out farther away from it, it's going to be a little bit lighter. Just like that. I just made a new petal where there wasn't even a petal. And that's the magic of this. Look at that. Wow. Thank you guys so much. I really appreciate you hanging out with me as we did this fun set of sunflowers. Now you see how quick and easy it really is to do these. You can do it, remember, doodling and drawing. It's all done one line at a time. Remember to click that like button and share the video with your friends. Share on your social media. There's a button that says share. Click that, share it on Pinterest and Twitter and Facebook and wherever else it lets you share. That helps my channel grow, and it helps give me a little bit more heart to continue on making these videos because I love doing this. If you enjoy coloring, this is a lot of fun to color. Go out and do something creative. Take care of yourself so you can take care of those around you. And I hope to see you back here again really soon. Bye-bye.